Hello Deepak, in which year you are in currently? Like I have a question, in which year you are in? If you able to hear me, so please answer my question, in which year you are in? Currently you are in which year? So, hey there, I'm starting my session right now, and the first topic which I want to cover that it's based on the communication. This is really important to improve our own communication skills, which I literally started focusing on myself from past few years, and the communication is something that is really matter and based on the environment. But if we belongs from the environment where we don't have a much support to improve the communication and focused on the stuff, so when we came to know about I want to learn this specific language, like I want to learn the English, when I came to know about this, when because the interviews everything is conducting in the English language, and I know it's much important, English talking, making the communication in English is really important. But why we failed, why we can't able to, as we talking in our mother tongue, why we can't able to fix our communication? The reason is this, that whatever you hear, just you thought, and that comes to your mouth. Okay, so listening is really important. Okay, it's really making a sense. Everything is depend on the listening. Why I'm telling like this, the communication, because of the poor communication you have a lot of skills, but because of the poor communication you lose the opportunity, you lose many of the opportunity, and with the zero amount of degree, and if you having a good communication skills, so it show us that the leader qualities, and it's show us that because of your communication I can't able to guess that whether you are eligible or not, still I am confused. So I definitely going to give you a chance to check it out as you telling, and the way of your confidence, it's making me feel like that you have the ability to make the cells, to make a cell, and this is how the business work. So why the communication matter a lot. And if I talk about my past, so my communication level was is very low, and if currently it's low, but I literally am working on it and I want to improve it, and in anyhow in any condition. So basically that, first of all let me know that how many of you are facing the communications, facing a communication issue. uh, Let me check the comment over there. By the way, Deepak, this is your comment second. During the daytime, you also have sent in the comment like, I want a job. Okay, I want to tell you that everybody do the job, and everyone is going to do the job, whether you are educated or uneducated. The job is for everyone, but what kind of the job you're going to get, it's matter. Okay, it's matter as per your experience and the work and the confidence which I really talking about. So it's really matter, uh, the way of your project, resume, your communication skills, everything matter. Okay, so my question is that, if you are asking the question about the job, so basically I think that you are in your final year, because the final years our students are, because right now only the final year students are worrying about the job and this all. Okay, sure up me sometimes. Yeah, we're talking about the communication, right? So okay, listen, first of all, if I talk about the job scenario, so everybody is going to do the job, even 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 if my scenario, after when I was completed my 10th grade, I started working in a classes as a teacher, where I am teaching the till 8th grade students. I got I, at that time also I got a job. So job is available, but which type of job you want to do, it's depend on you, whether you are preparing yourself or not. So it's truly important for you to prepare for it. And if you are not preparing for it and just seeking out that I want to do the job, anyhow I'm not getting a job, from where should I search this kind of the opportunities. So there is thousands of the opportunity and application I have seen on the LinkedIn. The problem is that you have to search for it. Okay, the job is not going to come for you. You need to go for it and you need to search for it, then only you're going to get it. So now you having a chat gpt in this era 2025. uh, why we peoples are behaving like that? We need some mentors, nothing, all the information freely and truly available. Okay, I don't know, but yeah, I know one thing, that the chat gpt and every platform, Google, everywhere, you whatever the doubt you have, you can able to clear it. So yeah, so what I want to tell you, that search for the information, give your best, and everyone wants to do the job, but it's depend on you that which kind of the job you're going to get. Okay, so give your best, search for the position that you are looking for, and what is the requirement for it, what exactly the eligibility is. If you have a good skills, nobody is going to be asked about your grade. But first of all, the skills matter. Okay, because there is so many students over there, so many applicants over there. So what reason why they will why they will only choose you? So you need to be think about that. So for this, at least you need to do the some amount of contribution to stand out somewhere. AI is really helpful. Yeah, exactly. There is everything, and still, if I uh, behave like that, I need someone who give me the guidance. I need a mentor to give me a proper roadmap. The chat GPT, everything is available right now, and there is. I have seen that many AI also giving the we can able to use them. Even you can able to design your resume with the help of them. So in this scenario, what you're looking for, search for it. There is job, but the problem is that you are not at a right platform. That's why you are facing a lot of issues. And the and also offline, online, all kind of the jobs are available. So that's why I'm asking you which year you are in. But you haven't replied. Maybe you are not watching my live streaming right now. But yeah, let's topic comes to the communication skills. So yeah, from past years I have faced a lot of poor. My communication scenario is really very poor. I always feel myself afraid, and whenever the teachers are tell us, okay, stand up and read this page or explain the topic, and I was like, I know exactly what the answer is, but I feel myself afraid to speak in the front of the classrooms, and even sometimes I can't able to express myself. I am much better than as compared to the other student, but I always felt and spended my school time as an average student. And this is what happening when you having a poor communication. So it's much important to work on your communication. Okay, to do the practice, to record your own video and check it what mistake you are making. So this is how you can able to improve your communication. And there is a many YouTube channel I have seen. They from the different countries are giving a lot of. Okay, wait. Okay, you both. Me final year. Okay. My question is that, did you know him? Yeah, if you final year students, I can only able to give you one guidance: save your time as much you can. Now you are at your peak point, your peak scenario. After a few months, your parents also going to be ask you that my son, my daughter is going to get a job, and son and daughter reaction is like, oh my god, I don't know. So yeah, currently you are at your peak point. I can able to feel you. It seems like the board examination. So yeah, you all of you are at your peak point. Give your best, don't waste your time. This is your time, it's very precious. Okay, prepare yourself for the interview. Try to give the mock interviews, connect with the people. Even if you have to pay for them, pay for the premium scenario to get the chance to stand out somewhere. Okay, so currently if you are also getting a job near any startup company, so just do it, don't think about it. No, if I get an internship in Amazon, in any FANG company, then only I'm going to get it, and otherwise I'm not going to apply it. So don't keep that kind of the attitude. Just if I just I want to tell you that if I am in the final year right now, so I'm definitely going to do that, to search this any startup based company, and then ask them whether they want anyone for working purpose. So I will contribute for them, and then I will add my working experience in resume that I have worked on this role in this startup company, and this is my work experience XYZ. So this is you going to get some sort of summary about yourself. If you are thinking to directly target on any big company, so it will become difficult. I have the experience. I have seen the students first they started with the low to high, and exactly when you will do like this, you're going to be within a 6 month you're going to see yourself in a better place. So the only one thing which I want to tell you that for prepare yourself much better, as much you can, give your soul everything for it, and after that search for any startup or the beginning company and tell them. And every startup company are need the freshers, they definitely going to give you the opportunity, work for them, and then mention your roles in the resume. And after that submit your resume in any company like Infosys, Wipro, IBM, right? IBM, yeah, these all the companies. If you get selected, so give your best in interview and all. Sure, ma'am, will definitely do it. Sure. Yeah, don't say me, ma'am. Okay, I'm in a second year student and very beginner. Okay, currently my second year is just started, so a very beginner. And if I tell you, so I belongs to tier 3 college, so you can able to feel that the pain inside which like I only want to tell you that the the students from lower college, if some of them are very talented, but the what exactly the problem is that they don't get the chance to show themselves, and they just sitting with the students or sitting with the students or classmates, they becoming same. If they definitely very smart, but when they spending their time with that 3 to 6 chosen people or the teachers, so they also feel like that, oh, currently I'm in a second year, first year I have a lot of time, but exactly the first year is gone just like this, I didn't even realize. So this is how the scenario happened. Maybe many of you are in your final year, right? So you also haven't realized that how you suddenly came in the final year. You feel like that your bachelor's just started, and now you are in your peak point and you are looking for the job. So this is how the time goes, just like this. So it's much better to give your best and save your time as much you can. The 6 month rules work. It will be work when you will give your best. And I know only one thing, that if you truly do the hard work, if you give your 90%, so you're definitely going to give your best. because I have never seen anyone who did a lot of hard work and still on the same place. I never seen that. So okay, wait, let me read the comment. By the way, this year is gone crazy fast. Yeah, exactly. I think that after COVID-19, everything is going very fast. We don't even realize what is happening. Every year is go very. See, only we're going to realize our time when we get a job. Then the time will when we sit in a office and do the work and we wait to at evening at night time I want to go home. So you're going to feel like that you are why the time is not running. So this is the time where you have to keep yourself busy, very busy. uh, just keep yourself locked in what is very famous on YouTube, just do that and prepare yourself to stand out at any good environment, because we spend it as a tier 3 college student. Me, I spent my uh, most of the time in college, and I feel like that I'm I'm at wrong place. And so just I don't want to feel this scenario same when I will get a job. Like when you are in a new company and startup base or any beginning company, so you having a lot of pressure as compared to the other companies, as compared to other fine companies. The employees over there having a break, having a holidays, and the companies are also behaving like they understanding their employees. But if you are any startup or the beginning company, so you're having a lot of pressure, so you're going to feel like that, no, I don't want to do the job. So this is the future. So don't, instead of creating this scenario, it's much better to prepare for it and give your best if you are the final year student. So I can only able to give you the suggestion is save your time. The time is important, okay? Yes, it was like gone in an instant. Yeah, exactly. So the final year students is only one sentence I want to tell you, that save your time. If you are watching my live streaming right now, so don't watch it, go and do your work, because I don't want to create the scenario like that my viewers are watching the streaming, and because I'm the beginner and you know the real world problem more than me, so it's much better to go and do your study. It's 1:16 a.m. Just close the streaming and you go and do your work, and don't waste your time in any social media platform, okay? If once you get any proper job, so you definitely going to get a lot of ideas. So do the things that you like to do at the same time. So this is how you're going to feel like that you are living your life. The human life is not all about the job, okay? I'm just hating that time is going fast, but time doesn't care about my opinions. We need to think about that everyone's time is going very fast. And you know what, the time is not a human being or any living organism is going to care about another living organism, because because by the way, I gave a one interview today, okay? Wait. By the way, I gave a one interview today and I did very well, hoping to get an offer. Yeah, best of luck, and I wish that you're going to get pursue that position where you're applying for it. And this is really important to get selected, okay? So yeah, keep trying, and apply everywhere, apply in any platform. You don't know where you're going to select, so apply in every platform. I am only thinking, I am only understanding one thing, that interviewers need the employer. That's why they hiring, they opening the door, they creating opening the opportunity. They just selecting the good ones. So try to make yourself good from uh, in 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 their point of view. So try to just try to ex- express yourself, like try to represent yourself in front of them, like you having the ability to, if you get selected, so you having the ability to do something which going to help the quality of that company. Like you having ability to introduce, like what I want to tell, just I'm confused. Like you having ability to perform, give the best. So with the help of you, the company is going to collect the profit. Just you need to create the scenario, okay? Every companies need the employees. They don't want to teach you. They need the employees who already know about how the companies work, and in the role, the kind of role which they are applying for it. No, wait. No, I want, see, I want to tell so many things, but I'm just kind of confused that how should I express what is inside in my mind. Why don't interrupt yourself? Just keep moving forward. So, okay, but yeah, the I only want to tell you that dude, she's smart. That's, oh, it no, it's nothing like that. I think that everybody is smart. Okay. So yeah, for now I'm just doing the language practice. Language practice is mean that at the same time I'm learning the German as well. So right now I'm thinking to do the German practice for um, for more than for for 45 minutes. Okay. So yeah, I think, I hope so that all of you are also doing your work, or maybe if you did it, so go and sleep. Don't waste your time. Okay, if you are not doing study, or if you are not working, so don't waste your time, because it's 1 a.m. and you are still, and right now I'm going to do the language practice for 45 minutes. Then after that I will start the Swift, and then I will go college, and this is my day, this is my routine. By the way, everything I'm doing myself, like every information I'm collecting myself. Even when while starting, while mid of my first year, I didn't even know what exactly the meaning of LinkedIn when I made my profile over there. And then I started searching for the people which I think that they are going to help me in the future. I started connecting with them, and I also noticed one thing, that if you ask for help, so there is no one. There is the comment. Okay. In which college? In which college? Okay. You asking that I'm from which college? So I think that sometimes I feel like that my colleges don't belongs to tier 3 as well, because because the thinking of the scenario of the college is totally based on assignment. Sometimes I feel like that I'm going to get a job based on these assignments which I'm completing so far. By the way, question is I'm from which college? So I'm not interested to tell you about this. I'm from lower than tier 3, but my college represent B, sometimes A plus plus on Google, or website, or but in exactly I think that it's worse than tier 3. And not only the my college, even in Mumbai, rest of 3 to 4 college, all of the colleges are just fake. They open it the, yeah, you can able to do the engineering, you can able to pursue the engineering branch, but exactly, she is from college. She is. So I don't know why the colleges are doing like this, just giving the hope to the parents like, yeah, your kid is doing the engineering, your kid is. I have seen the medical students, they having the ability to open the clinic or work in the hospitals. But what about us? We are just pursuing the degree, even BSc CS, BSc IT. Now there is the data science, there is AIML branch, data science branch. The new branch is came in BSc. So you can able to feel that the how much employees are getting created every years, and I don't think so that much job. I don't know what's going to be happen next in the future. So well it's well to prepare yourself. It's much better to wasting your time. Because now I'm thinking that if there is the 5 students, so from 5 there is 4 or 3 are the engineers. So I only want to tell that you can able to understand the scenario. Okay, yeah, good night. Yeah, sure. You choose it the best option instead of wasting your time. Just go and sleep and wake up early. We are something of we well there's something of I'm also feeling. Yeah, exactly. Okay, now it's 1:25, and I think that instead of talking, it's much better if we take the action. So I'm going to do my work, and I wish that you are all of you also doing your work, and if you are not doing your work, so go. Don't waste your time on the social media. It's much better to take the 8 hours of sleep. But yeah, if you are in a final year, so don't take the 8 hours of sleep. 2 and 3 hours is enough, and prepare yourself for. I have nothing. I'm just wasting time today. Uh, See, if I don't talk about the wasting of the time scenario, because time is everything for me and as well as for all of you as well. So yeah, okay, it's your choice, because I think that you attended the interview today. So take the relax and don't worry about that, and apply everywhere. Just from first year only I'm applying for every job. Even when I was in the first year, they ask, when you are applying for the job or the interview, so you have to submit the resume. And at that time I was like, oh, what exactly the resume mean? And I searched it on the YouTube, and I came to know that resume is the, I think that it's a page introduction about you. So whatever you did it, and I was like, I just taken the admission in a college. What should I mention over here? I only know the Excel, PowerPoint, that's it, and I wrote that. And even I also wrote over there about I'm also hobbies. I'm making a sketch XYZ. I didn't even know that tech companies don't care about your drawing and sketching work, but still I mentioned it over there. And then I submit my resume in everywhere, and then slowly I came to know about GitHub and this all the platforms. Then I made the profile over there, and I started storing my projects and the important codes. Yeah, this is the scenario is exactly laughing. So yeah, it's 1:27 and I'm going for my language practice, and I wish that if any of you watching my stream right now, just do your work or do the important work, okay, which help you to improve your knowledge. Yeah, bye. I'm going to watch something. Something. Good luck. Okay. Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. Best of luck and good luck you too. And yeah, right now I'm also doing my study. Okay, wait. Rishi, Rishi. Okay. Ma'am, how to clear a technical like? Ma'am, how to clear technical round? Okay, I'm currently in a second year, like just my second year started. But yeah, if you're talking about, I only when I was currently this running month, I'm collecting all the information related how we are applying for the interviews, and then I came to know, and even my seniors like my brothers sisters they are also working in good companies. So I came to know that there is the two round. First is the uh, all the technical rounds, right? So first round is technical, where they give you the question and test and all, and then first round is technical, and second round is based on your personal question and the experience, whatever we have to mention it on, like which college I belongs to tier 3 college. More, yeah, my I belongs to tier 3 college. Yeah, you are asking me the college name, so it belongs affiliated to the Mumbai University. I don't want to mention my college name. I will definitely going to mention you if I land the job. If I crack it the interview, and if I crack it any internship, so I definitely going to mention my college name with the principal. Because the scenario of tier 3 college is worst, because there is something which is missing in the college, and that is when they change the way of the teaching is definitely going to help a lot. And the reason why we student are suffering, we really wants to do something, but the college and their routine and their timetable and Wi-Fi connection issues. If I think that to take my laptop in a college and skip the lecture and while sitting in the library do my work, so it's impossible, because the Wi-Fi sometimes Wi-Fi is not going to be work. And if this is happening, so it's just a suffering more than study. And you are doing the subject in first year, you are doing the chemistry, physics, this all. It's much better to do the BSc in with, from in any good college. By the way, I think after watching and using the social media, I learned one thing, that if you are smart and good and different as compared to different than other kids, so you definitely going to make, if you definitely going to do something amazing. The life is not only all about the grades and the job. There is many of the opportunities are available. Many of them are getting selected in any good job, but they are good in a gaming and making more than expected money. So there is many opportunities are available. Still we stuck and thinking and worrying about the college is worst scenario, I think. And just I only want to tell you that uh, whatever the company interview you are going, so first of all know about the company very well, because first of the question is based on, just I'm giving you example, you are going in the company called Barcode, so they going to tell you that, tell me what do you know about the what do you know about the Barcode company, and then you didn't prepare yourself for it. So and this is the scenario which happened with me when I was applying for the SMM interview, in social media management interview, and they asked me what our companies do, and I was like, I didn't prepare for it because I was sick, and I thought to cancel the interview and apply and they also given me chance to cancel it and if I wish. So but I didn't did that, and this is what my regret is. So the first question they asked started with, what do you know about this company and what exactly the social media management role work. This is their second question. By the way, this all the questions are means this all the questions is theoretical, means you can able to give the answer, you don't have to write any code, because the social media management interview is based on the communication, okay, and the technical interview is the different scenario where you have to solve the question and write the code. So it's much better to improve your stack, whatever the stack you are mentioning in your resume, just work on that as much you can, have a good project, And if you have did any teamwork project, just like we participating in hackathon, and your most of the role is handling the front end, so you at least you need to know about the front end, because in interview they're going to ask you that. So okay, yeah, you work handling the front end, so how you handling the front end, which stack you are using over there, which one is your favorite, why you always using this one, why not any others. This all the question is going to be confuse you. It's like it's same as a trap, and you need to keep make yourself prepare for it. And in I have seen the confidence is important, when when I was um, when I was doing my first interview, and my confidence is really very low, and my half of the camera is like this, I'm only visible this much. And and they all are like they belongs to different countries, so their English is advanced, and my communication is worst, even with the not perfect accent. And sometimes I forgot the whenever I speak. So this is what the communications work. So yeah, and in interview also going to talk in English. So instead of creating the regret that you know a lot of things but you can't able to express yourself, so it's much better to improve your communication skills, way of the communication. So it's definitely going to be work. So see, whatever you are mentioning in the resume, just prepare it, because whatever the question they will ask from there only, because you mention it, so you must be know about that. Nothing, and if you don't know anything, so you just don't mumble it, like don't give, don't add your own thought over there. Just tell them honestly, I don't know about this. And at the end of the interview, you also it doesn't matter whether you are selected or not, but at least in every interview, in every opportunity, you're going to learn something. You know, you're going to learn so many things. So it's important to apply everywhere, because whether you are failing or giving your best, but you are learning something. Every opportunity having a lesson. So apply everywhere. Whatever the opportunity you are getting, apply everywhere, whether you having a team or not. Just go solo, don't look for the team. And if you don't have a team, and if you have a good team, good interactions, so take your friends with you as well. Okay, hello. Hello, hi. Okay, keep going. God bless you. Okay, thank you very much. And you too. All, all of them are the best. I'm just speaking, and it's nothing. I'm just sharing my thought and my experience, nothing else. Because this is what I really like to do. And if you belongs from low tier college, you want to say many things, but you feeling like incomplete. You can't able to represent yourself. So this is why the getting selected in good college is blessing, and after that getting a good job with with working in a great environment, it's a blessing. Okay, so you only going to get this bless when you do the hard work. So okay, now I'm going to do the some study. As I told that I want to do the language practice, I'm going to do that. And I wish that all of you are just doing doing the work. Okay, don't waste your time. I'm in EC. EC means electrical. Your branch is electrical. Please let me know exactly what exactly the full form of EC, because many of called the electrical, or I have seen that the many of called the electrical and computer, electronic and communication. Okay, electronic and communication. Yeah, there are many branches. First one is the electronic communication, then electronic and telecommunication, then electronic and computer engineering. Okay, it's hardware plus software. Okay, but I know that many of you are going to do the job. You all of you going to apply for the software as well. Okay, because it's the reality that everyone's are applying for the software as well. And one thing, the engineering is all about the hardware, and but still now the software, computer engineering is coming in. Now the software work we given in the engineering, it's not making a sense as per my point of view, because engineering is all about civil electrical, and this all the branches are exactly in engineering where you are writing the assignments are making the sense. But if I talk about the software and hardware scenario, so hardware, it's everything is depend on the practical. And if you are belongs to the low tier college, so the maybe the hardware scenario is worst. I can able to feel that, because when I was in the first year, and our BEEE sir, BEEE, there is there is 8 to 7 instrument, that's it. And only the one can have, only one student is using everything, and rest of them are just watching. So this is not anything work, because every student need to get a chance to use the particular thing. By the way, hardware and communication. Okay, over here lot of hard work, lot of dedication required, because electronic and telecommunication. See, the communication word they just added just for the fun, but electronic. See, I have seen that the in different country, like in different country, even whether you are the mechanical, electrical, civil, every students are getting a same amount of job, same some amount of the job ratios are available. But currently, I have seen the condition of civil engineering in India, the condition is worst. If you are belongs to the good college, then only you can have good companies are going to hire you, where you going to get a good project. They will take you in city areas. But if you are belongs to the lower colleges, and your branch is civil, so they will take you for and villages areas. This kind of the work means, as lower you are, that much pressure you're going to get. So if you belongs to electronic and communication, so over here you have to do the lot of hard work. First of all, you need to think about it, whether you want to do the job in the electronic field or in software field. First of all, keep this thing in your mind, which type of the job you want to apply in the future, whether you want to def whether you directly wants to go for electronic or for the software. Like if you want to go for the electronic, then follow your college properly, and if you want to go for the software, and also your own hard work is required, your own dedication while sitting at home, your own self study is going to be better at the end, if you want to go for the software. And if you want to go for the electronic and all, so follow your college at the same time. Try to search for the lower in electronic. Okay, search for the internship, where you have to do the work practically. They will going to pay first starting amount is uh, paying amount is less, but I have seen if you add in the resume, so other companies are going to select you on the spot if you're having a good level of the experience. So this is why sometimes BSCC students are stand out much better than as compared to the bachelor engineering student, because they waste, instead of wasting their time while learning the useless subjects, they giving their all of the time for the software application, and their study time period is also less. They only have to stay in a college for 4 to 5 hours, that's it. Last year, more than every students get the placement, I know that. But the scenario is like, this is like all of the companies are the last last year, the TCS, the companies like TCS, Wipro, Infosys, this all the companies are coming in my college. But those students are only getting the placement whose skills level is high. But sometimes it's happening when the college is not giving you time for improving your skills, so the ratio of the selection get low. And that's why our college also tell us to stay dedicated and try to give your best to at least get selected, and search for the internship if you are getting so well and good, and apply for it. So this is something, is scenario is it's not that much, but yeah, they help us for the placement as well, everything. Okay, okay, I thought you were asking this question to me. Yeah, I think he left. Yeah. still various version and urban code is not housing on gate in an urban is still reactive paraposition for and Morgan and urban and knock winter. Okay. And Morgan and urban knock me is again in skin is Morgan is Morgan. Oh, sorry, I missed the lot of comment. Okay, wait. Well, well, don't you feel like you're putting so much effort just to land a job? If you put the same effort in making a YouTube content or on will make you a more plus and will own a time can work a location free. Yeah, exactly correct. Yeah, exactly, you are correct, but for making the video it definitely take a lot of your time, because at the same time after publishing you also have to add, you also need to edit it, okay? And yeah, exactly, I will make the videos because I already have a lot of content, and at the same time I also have a lot of thought to share it. So I'm going to make the video because I posted that I want to post a video. I thought, I talked to the one lady. She was a professionally guidance then giving a guidance related to the freelance. Maybe you know about that. So she was from US, and she given me the best guidance which I want to suggest. So I definitely going to make the video for it, and I wish that if the content, the topic is really good, so I wish that maybe many of you are the free, so you definitely going to check it out. And what Shakti, okay, what are you coding right now? So right now I'm not doing the coding till yeah, I'm going to start the Swift after 2:30 a.m. Yeah, so 2:30 I'm going to start the Swift. So for now I'm just doing the language practice, and goes to for the goal and dedication. Thank you very much. So yeah, right now I'm just doing the language practice, as I told you that at the same time I'm English. I'm also learning the different languages. I love to learn the language, and so far now I started learning the language, and I wish that at least at the ending of the life I know more than the 10 languages. So now I started, and I'm doing the German right now, and maybe I wish to learn the Spanish and all the languages. So yeah, that's why I'm doing the German practice. And when all the opportunities are available on the online, so the person who is missing it is doing it's making a large mistake, you know. Any advice for tier 3 third year students who just know the DSA medium level? Yeah, I'm also I'm also started the DSA, and now I covered more than 25 topics. Yeah, more than 25 now. Yeah, 28th topic I completed, more than 28 topic. And dude, you already know 80% of the DSA, as you said the medium level. Yeah, exactly, if you said the medium level, so you know more. Yeah, exactly, you know at least 18% of the DSA. And just keep revising, okay, and practicing the question, like whatever the topic you are covering, at that same time after completing that topic, go and practice it on the lead code, and try to solve the different questions, and don't focus on the lot of the stack. Just try to choose any stack, whatever the stack is yours, just try to be the best. And this is what. And also, yeah, still no internship. Yeah, exactly, but now you are in third year, so I will suggest you to, after the December, from this running October, November, and December, you having a, no, you having only 3 months. September is now ending, so you having a 3 month. Improve your stacks, complete the DSA, and with notes, and try to target 4 to 6 companies. See what types of the questions they're asking, which topic is really important for them as per their perspective and for what kind of the role you are applying. So just prepare yourself for that level. Okay, you have the chat gpt, you having a google, you having a every information on your hand. Just you have to do is search it and know it before the deadline. Okay, it's much better. Search when the internship is going to be start, what is the ending deadline, when you have to apply. Design your resume. Resume is everything, resume is the front end of your website. If I want to choose the website, so I definitely going to choose as per the front end. And if I want to choose the employer, so I'm going to choose you as per your resume. So design it as much better you can. Well found job, highly recommended startups job. Exactly. This is what I really wants to tell you. Okay, don't behave like that. You only wants to do the job in the internship in any best company, then only you're going to do the job, and otherwise not. Don't for now, just don't behave like that. Whatever the internship you are getting, yeah. And one more thing, the internship, I have seen that a lot of the internship apply in every platform. Okay, and first of all, resume. It's if your resume condition is worst and you are applying, so you're not going to select anywhere, because it's the key. Okay, design your resume very well, know the company, which company you are applying before applying for it, and then apply everywhere in every platform. Stay active on linkedin. Now you are in third year, so you must be need a good connection. So stay active on linkedin and design your resume very well, improve your stack. And yeah, till december you have a time. From january, just keep in your mind that from january I want to land somewhere. Okay, yeah, there's the comment. What are you actually doing on this live? I mean, what's the content here? I'm trying to understand. Okay, yeah. First of all, I'm live because I'm I like to record myself at the same time whatever work I'm doing, and yeah, I I'm a kind of person who get distracted so fast. So just for stopping that scenario, I keep myself live and I'm doing my work at the same time. I'm connecting with the same tech people like they are in the second year, third year, at the same time they all of them are also preparing for the internship. So because of this live session, I'm getting a chance to connect with all of you. And yeah, exactly the reason why I have made this channel, because uh, in future I'm going to the launch the designing is the platform is sketching platform. So I want to connect with the student who love to make the sketching. So I'm going to make my website by my own, so from scratch. So this coming January I'm going to launch it, because it's 2026 starting and it's ending of the 2025. So I have only the 3 months, means 19 days in my hand, and I want to save it. So I just want to improve my sketch stack from starting. Currently I'm in the second year and almost wasted my first year just thinking about what exactly I want to do. And if you are belongs to the low tier college, so you already know that there is so many things which you don't know. And if you are not if you are kind of the student who not collecting the information by themselves and depend on the students, so you going to then the scenario will be become the worst. And how I spent in my first year, just I first of all I collected all the information about the professional platforms where I get the chance to meet with the new startup peoples, where I can see how they're working and solving the real world problems. So I came to know that if you have some ability, so you also can able to contribute yourself. So yeah, this running January I want to do many things. Like this upcoming January I want to launch the designing map sketching platform. And then second thing, I want to apply for the open source. So before applying for the open source, exactly I need to polish my stack. So yeah, in the live session I'm doing daily routine, my like sketching work, and then program doing DSA questions, and then lead code question, and then at the same time learning the Swift. And yeah, also making the connection with all of you. So this is what the little bit introduction about my channel. So it's not only based for programming, it's based for everything. Just whatever I see, I make the video. And I think that maybe others are also thinking the same, so I make the video on that topic.
when we're in the playground, when we're just learning how to code. But if we start actually building real apps, we would never just like throw all of our code in some file somewhere. Instead, we would actually create specific files that have functions that we can then call from our code. So what really happens when you run your app is you have one function that's going to run a chunk of code, and then that function will probably call another function that runs a chunk of code. And your whole app is basically a bunch of functions calling each other to run chunks of code. So instead of having one big file with all of our code, we're going to create a bunch of functions that will then run bits and pieces of code. And each function will basically have its own purpose. So you might have a function to do one thing, another function to do another thing, so you can keep your code separate. In this video, we're going to learn the syntax of how to actually write these functions. I don't think it is like overly difficult, but it's a lot of new syntax, and I think it deserves its own video. In the next couple of videos, we're going to write a bunch of functions. So don't worry about fully grasping it in this video. This is the intro, and then we're going to build on what we've learned. Hey, we're rocking and rolling, getting through this course. I feel like the first couple videos are arguably the hardest just because you've never really written code before and there's probably a lot of new stuff to you. But as we get through this, I promise you you'll get more and more comfortable working in Swift. That said, in the last video, probably the hardest video, we did a lot of logic. This video is going to be significantly less. Let's call this maybe an easier video. But what we're going to talk about here is called functions. So far in this series, all we've done was write code inside this file. And one file runs again from top to bottom. So every line of code runs line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. But that's not really how an app works when we actually start building an app. An app really is just a sequence of functions that are inside files. So we're going to look at some of that now. Let's right-click the navigator, create a new playground page, and let's call this functions. Alright, again, I'm going to leave the import foundation, and let's start writing some code. So firstly, again, we've been writing code sort of like this. Let my item of type bool equals false. It means a variable, and then we set my item equal to true, and then we maybe print out my item. Okay? Now, this is fine for the playground, right? And this is how we write code, but in reality, this is not how an app works. An app works, your code is divided into functions inside each of these files. So like this file by itself, we would never be writing code just in the file. Instead, the file is going to have a series of objects and functions, and we're going to write logic inside those functions. And so instead of just writing code in this file, let's start putting code into functions. So the way we're going to do that, we're going to write func for function, and then we're going to give the function a name. So here I'm going to call this one my first function. And my first function, we're going to open and close the parentheses, and then open the brackets. Now, again, this bracket is a closure, just like we have in our if statements, but this closure will only execute when we call this function. Okay, so if I put a print statement here saying my first function call, and I run this code, it's never going to print because we're never actually calling this from our app yet. So this only executes when we call this function. And I will just copy and paste it down here, and this is how we call the function. So we literally would write my first function, open and close the parentheses, and this is now calling the code inside this function. So now that I have this here, I run it, it's going to obviously print out to the console. So this is generally how apps work. There's a initial function somewhere that the system creates, and then you're going to tell it, okay, when you start the app, first go to this file and show this on the screen. And then that file is going to call a whole bunch of other functions like load this data, show this button, all of these types of things. So your whole app is essentially a chain of functions that starts with one function. And so here we have like my first function. I'm going to create maybe another one called my second function. And so my second function call, And so now we could, in our add, we could call my first function, and then we can also call my second function. Alright, so if I run this, obviously they both will run. But I could also start to chain these functions. So maybe when I execute my first function, I want my first function to then call my second function. So instead of putting this here, I will put this inside of this code here. So what will happen now, this code is going to run line 1, line 2, line 3, but these aren't executed yet, and then it's going to get to here. It's going to call this function, which is this function and this closure. So this will execute, then this will get called. This is calling this function, which will then execute this line of code. So if I run it, it looks the same, but now it's obviously slightly different. And we can continue this as well, right? So I can create another one. I can have my third function exit call, and we can have my second function then call my third function. And of course that will work. We're also not limited to calling one other function from this function. So I can put the call to my third function inside my first function as well, and that would obviously work. So the first thing to learn here is obviously the syntax of how to write a function, but we need to understand that we can basically chain functions and have functions call other functions, and that's a totally normal process in writing any sort of software. Now let's look at some more complex examples of functions. So down here I'm going to create another function, and let's call this one maybe get user name. Open. Code, I will call get username, and obviously when this runs, it's going to run this closure and it will print it out, right? So let's print it out here. Now we're going to start to talk a little bit about access control in the coming videos, but what I want to point out here is that this constant of username is set up inside of this closure. So if I'm not in that closure and I'm down here, I can't access this username. I can't say like let name equals username because it doesn't know what this is, because this is private to this closure. So in other words, if I had put this out here, so it was not private to this function, and we're just use functions. So the first thing to learn here is obviously the syntax of how to write a function, but we need to understand that we can basically chain functions and have functions call other functions, and that's a totally normal process in writing any sort of software. Now let's look at some more complex examples of functions. So down here I'm going to create another function, and let's call this one maybe get user name. Open close parentheses, open the brackets. And in here, let's say let maybe user name equals, we'll say Nick, that is my name, and then we will print user name. Alright, so down here in my code, I will call get username, and obviously when this runs, it's going to run this closure and it will print it out, right? So we'll print it out here.
Hey there.
Now, we're going to start to talk a little
Print
bit about
here.
access control in the coming videos. But what I want to point out here is that this constant of username is set up inside this closure. So if I'm not in that closure and I'm down here, I can't access this username. I can't say like let name equals username because it doesn't know what this is, because this is private to this closure. So in other words, if I had put this out here, so it was not private to this function, right? Now I can still call it in here, and I can still access it here, but now this is public to basically everything in this file. Whereas if I put this inside this function, this data is now private to this closure. And again, generally in Swift and any programming language, we should make things as private as possible. So if I only need it in this function, then it's a good idea to put it inside the function. Now, of course, when we call get username, right now we're just printing it out. But what if when I called get username, I wanted to actually get the username back on this line of code? So I wanted line 26 to actually access the username so that I could then use it in my app. So really what I want to do is call this function and then return a value out of this function. And so the syntax for doing that is that after we have the function declaration here, we can say, we use an arrow saying return, and then we give it a type. So what type of data do we want to return? Right now, again, in this playlist we've already covered strings, booleans, integers, and this of course is of type string, right? So we want to return a string out of this function. And now the compiler knows that at the end of this closure, there should be a return statement that is going to return some string. So this is telling us right now it's missing the return because we're not returning a string out of the function. And so to fix that, we can just literally return the username. And I don't need to print this anymore, so I'm going to delete it. And now when we call get username, it's going to return us back the value, the string that is coming out of this function. So here when I call this, it really should say let name, and we'll set it equal to the value that is being returned from get username. And if I hold the option button and click on name, I can see the name is of type string, meaning the value returned from this is returning us a string which happens to be the exact same type as this variable constant that we have here now. So name is of type string. And again, this is type safe because this is Swift. So for example, if I said func check if user is premium, and it's a function that returns a bool, it's integers, and this data is now and maybe get my third function exit call, and we can have my second
and print. What should I print over here?
And we can have my second function then call my third function. And of course that will work. We're also not limited to calling one other function from this function. So I could put the call to my third function inside my first function as well, and that would obviously work.
What function is important?
So the first thing to learn here is obviously the syntax of how to write a function, but we need to understand that we can basically chain functions and have functions call other functions, and that's a totally normal process in writing any sort of software.
Hey, Dad.
Now let's look at some more complex examples of functions. So down here I'm going to create another function, and let's call this one maybe get user name. Open close parentheses, open brackets. And in here let's say let maybe user name equals, we'll say Nick, that is my name, and then we will print user name. Alright, so down here in my code I will call get username.
Video
And
is
obviously when
lagging
this
so
runs,
much.
it's going to run this closure.
Or maybe
and
the
print it
internet
out,
issue.
Right? So let's print it out here. Now
By the
we're
way,
gonna
let me know in the
talk
comment
about
section,
access
like,
control in the coming videos.
who else
What I want to point out here
want
is
to
that this
get up early
content
for
of
the college,
username
you know.
is set up inside
And I
of this
don't
closure.
think so that I'm going
So
to
if I'm
manage
not
the
in
time
that
because it's
closure and I'm
3
down
a.m.
here,
and
I can't access
at
this username.
8:45 I have to reach the college anyhow.
'Cause it doesn't know
8:45 is
what
the
this
lecture starting time, and
because this is private
what going to be
this
happen, it's
closure.
totally
So
disaster.
in other words, if I put this out here, so it was not private to this function.
Okay, now back to the work.
Now I can still call it in here.
Currently I'm
and I can
doing
still
the
access it
function
here,
topic.
but now this is
All of the
public
topic which
to
we have
basically
already
everything in this
covered
file.
if we
Whereas if I
did
put
it
this
the
inside
Python
this
and Java
function,
and all.
this data is now
But
private
the way of
to
writing the
this
code
closure.
is different.
And again, generally in Swift and any programming language, we should make things as private as possible. So if I only need it in this function, then it's a good idea to put it inside the function. Now, of course, when we call get username, right now we're just printing it out. But what if when I called get username, I wanted to actually get the username back on this
Still
line of
running.
code?
I
So I
couldn't
wanted
want
line
to see
26
the
to
output
actually
over here.
access the username so that I could then use it in my app. So really what I want to do is call this function and then return a value out of this function. And so the syntax for doing that is that after we have the function declaration here, we can say, we use an arrow saying, meaning return, and then we give it a type. So what type of data do we want to return? Right now, again, in this playlist we've already covered strings, booleans, integers, and this, of course, is of type string, right? So we want to return a string out of this function. And now the compiler knows that at the end of this closure, there should be a return statement that is going to return some string. So this is telling us right now it's missing the return because we're not returning a string out of the function. And so to fix that, we can just literally return the username. And I don't need to print this anymore from the deleted. And now when we call get username, it's going to return us back the value, the string that is coming out of this function. So here when I call this, it really should say let name, and we'll set it equal to the value that is being returned from get username. And if I hold the option button and click on name, I can see the name is of type string, meaning the value returned from this is returning us a string which happens to be the exact same type as this variable constant that we have here now. So name is of type string. And again, this is type safe because this is Swift. So for example, if I said func check if user is premium, and it's a function that returns a boolean,
Missing return
and
is
maybe I
not
just
function
return
expected to
false for now,
return
I
string.
cannot set name equal to check if user is premium because this is returning us a boolean, and this we are telling the compiler is a string. So again, Swift is type safe always, but here is even more important because it understands that the value being returned from this function needs to match the value that we are setting up in this constant. So I'll revert this back to get username. Alright, let's do another example here, a little more complex. Let's create another example here. I'm just going to put a line in the code just to separate these examples. What we're going to do is maybe have a variable called user did complete onboarding of type bool, set equal to false, and we'll do another one var user profile is created of type bool, set it equal to true. Alright, here we have some function like check user status or something. And check user status maybe returns a boolean if user did complete the onboarding and the user profile is created. Okay, so we can do something like if user did complete onboarding and user profile is created, return true. So else, return false. Alright, so just like in the last video, we had all of those operators that we learned about, right? Those ifs, those ands, those ors. All of that code we would basically be doing inside functions. So we can do that inside a function and then return the value that we were calculating. So here we can check the user status and it's going to return us true or false based on this data. But again, as I mentioned earlier, it's not very common that we're going to have variables just floating around the file in our application. You can technically have variables just in the code, but that's called a global variable and it's kind of frowned upon. So we generally won't have just variables in the file unless we're in a playground like this. So in a real app, this data would be in some sort of object or some sort of other function. So for example, if I had my data in this function, so let's say func maybe show first screen. Okay. And our code then calls show first screen. And then from show first screen, we want to then check user status. And if user status is true, we go to one screen. If user status is false, we go to a different screen. The problem we have right now in our code though is that the compiler inside this closure is looking for a reference called user did complete onboarding. And it doesn't know that this value is coming from inside this function. And this is how most code is going to be in apps. You're going to have code and you need to basically tell it where that data is coming from. And the way we do that in functions is to actually pass values into the function. So you're probably wondering why we have this little open and close parentheses here. is created. So when we're in this closure, we can now use these values. All right, so we changed the name slightly. I did it on purpose. So here I can put this, and here I can put this. So now check user status is understanding that we're going to pass in these values, and then based on these values, we're going to perform this logic. So when I come up here on my show first screen, I'm going to actually call check user status, and you'll notice that when I go to type it, the completion here literally shows us that we need to pass in a value for did complete onboarding and profile is created. The only way we can call this function now is if we pass in both of these values, which we will do here. We'll pass this in, and we'll pass this in. All right, and now of course check user status is returning a boolean. So here we would say let status equals the result of this function. And so now in our code, we have this value, which is a boolean, right? The status coming back, and we can do something. We can say if status is equal to true, let's just print out, show home screen. So else print show onboarding screen. All right, so if I run my code now, we can see that show onboarding screen runs. So clearly status was not true, and that's because user did not complete onboarding. So I'll show you guys that we can pass in data from one function to another by updating the initializer. And again, these don't have to be booleans. This can be any type. We can pass in strings, we can pass in numbers and integers, and we can even chain these. So if we had another function, func do something else, with maybe this can be any type. We can So if we had another function, func do something else with maybe some value of type bool, right? I can chain these and I can call.
Okay, there is the comment. What is this line? Like you are asking which language is this, so I'm doing Swift. While seeing you, I also opened my laptop before an hour on. So, sure, yeah, thank you. And yeah, please, if you are, it's 3 a.m. and with me, all of you are just doing your work, and this is really very amazing. Like, we, we all are doing the hard work, and if you are truly instead of wasting your time, you are not, I wish that you are not you using the shorts or any other platform. So if you are doing that, so don't do, and focus on your study or focus on your professions. This is what I can only able to give you guidance. And yeah, right now I'm doing the Swift, and the topic which I'm covering right now is function.
This is how we pass data around the app, basically. You have functions, and then you send that data to the next function. So something that's really confusing when you're learning to code is like, how do I get the data from here to there, from one screen to the other? And it's not magic. I'm here to tell you that it is not magic. It is not some like weird thing that the computer is doing. You have to manually move the data around your app. And if the data is moving around your app, but you're not doing it, well then it's probably some side effect of the code that you wrote that you're not actually understanding. So when we're writing code, we are always trying to manage what data is private to what functions and what files, and then how do we get that data from this file to that file to that file, and so on. So this is kind of just like an intro to functions. I'm gonna comment this out. Let's come down here and let's do a couple more file and so on. I can chain these and I can call do something else, and I can pass in a boolean. Okay? Obviously this is not part of the example, but this is how we pass data around the app, basically. You have functions, and then you send that data to the next function. So something that's really confusing when you're learning to code is like, how do I get the data from here to there, from one screen to the other? And it's not magic. I'm here to tell you that it is not magic. It is not some like weird thing that the computer is doing. You have to manually move the data around your app. And if the data is moving around your app, but you're not doing it, well then it's probably some side effect of the code that you wrote that you're not actually understanding. So when we're writing code, we're always trying to manage what data is private to what functions and what files, and then how do we get that data from this file to that file to that file, and so on. So this is kind of just like an intro to functions. I'm gonna comment this out. Let's come down here and let's do a couple couple more quick examples. So I showed you that we can do an if statement alone. So this is kind of just like an intro to functions. I'm going to comment this. Let's come down here and let's do a couple more quick examples. So I showed you that we can do an if statement, right? But I want to look quickly at the control flow in some of these functions. So I'm going to create another line here just to separate out these examples. All right. And you'll notice here that this function returns a boolean. This function has nothing here, meaning it doesn't return anything. So if I do do something, and I don't return anything, that is the same thing as returning void. So sometimes you're going to see this word void come up when you're writing code, and void is just nothing. It's basically returning a function that doesn't do anything. It doesn't have a value. There's no true, there's no false, there's no string. It's just returning nothing. But in Swift, the compiler understands that if we don't include anything there, it's the same thing as returning void. So that's why I didn't have to write it here. Now if I call do something, so I'm going to call do something, and we're going to print out execute 1. If I run this code, execute 1 will print out. But I showed you already that we can do if statements inside this code. So I can say if, let's create a variable here called maybe, is new of type bool equals false. If is new.
Is this? Oh no, no, it's not a Go. It's a Swift. Yeah, currently I'm doing Swift. By the way, yeah, let me know in the comment section what what are you doing? Like all of you, maybe the 2 or 3 members are watching my session right now, and I really want to know that. Yeah, now the 4 members are watching this live session. So let me know in the comment section what you're doing right now, because it's 3 a.m. So maybe you just making us some cool stuff. I'm really very interested to know that what I'm doing, it's clearly visible to you, but I also want to know that. By the way, yeah, thank you for supporting this channel. Okay, I don't say very much to subscribe the channel because it's depend on the person who is coming, whether they want to subscribe or not. But if you are doing so, it's very motivating and supporting. I'm feeling very supportive, like, okay, start coding. I'm going to do the coding. Maybe you are doing coding right now, just you are trying to tell me that. Okay, then I'm back to the work, but let me know in the comment section what all of you are doing right now.
It's new. I'll run this code, and say else, I'll run this code. So here I'll print new, here I'll print, let's print not new. I run this code, obviously it works. But I could also, since this code is not returning anything from the function, I could also just leave this off. And I can just say if is new, print this out, and it works. But if I tell this function that it has to return a string, okay, the compiler now knows that no matter what the logic is inside here, every single case must return a string. So here I can return maybe the word new, but the compiler is still going to complain, because if it's not new and we get down to this part of the code, we're not returning any value out of the function. So the compiler knows that we are missing a return here, and that's what it's telling us. So here I would return false, and now it's going to work. And in the same way, and this is telling us that it's never going to be executed because obviously it knows that we're not changing the value of is new. So maybe if I had like our title of type string, put maybe Avengers, and we said if the title is equal to Avengers, let's return Marvel. And we'll say else, we'll say not Marvel. Okay? So now the control flow, this function knows that in every case, no matter what title is, it's either going to return this or it will return this. But if we got rid of this, there's now a case where nothing is going to return from the function, and that is not what we declared when we made this function. So once this is here, this is again Swift being type safe, saying that you said we're going to return a string, so you must be returning a string. Similarly, if we have the else statement here, we can return it here. And now the compiler actually understands that this if else covers every case in this file. So we actually don't even need to put any code here, because it knows it will return out of this function either here or here, and it will never get here because this will return. Another thing to point out here is that once you return out of the function, all of the following lines of code are not going to execute. So if I could write code here saying if title is equal to something else, and I could have like a if statement down here, but the compiler again now recognizes that all of our cases are going to return out of the function here. This return means end this function and return value back to the rest of the app. So when I call do something, let new value equals the result of do something, as soon as we return a value, we're done with this function. Do something, this whole closure ends as soon as the return is hit. So if I return here, nothing I write down here will ever execute. And it's just going to bring the value back here and then continue with the rest of my application. So it's important to understand this return means return out of the function. Alright, the next thing I want to point out is a guard statement. So I'm going to create another function here called do something else. I know, very clever names, right? So let's do another title here. And this time, instead of saying if the title is equal to Avengers, let's say make sure the title is Avengers. Okay, so we're going to use a guard statement for that. And so here we're saying, again, I'm going to say if title is equal to Avengers, then execute this code. Here we're going to say guard title is equal to Avengers.
Okay, there is the comment. Hey Didi. Oh, hello. Nisha, I thought you are doing. Yeah, currently I'm doing the Swift, and I will try to keep myself continue till 5 a.m. But and in reality, I don't have energy to sit anymore. But still, just I want to cover the topics, because if I went in a college, then after coming from there, I literally don't have ability to do anything. So so much better is that to prepare yourself and write some amount of the code, learn some new stuff, and then go and attend your college. So it will be much better, and you will feel like that you literally utilized your day. I think that there is a network issue, right? Why this is happening? I don't know. The connection is, everything is fine, but still, why the network issue is there? Okay, yeah, then I having a very less time. Now back to the work.
Another statement down here, and we will return. Okay, and so this is now saying make sure title is equal to Avengers. Alright, so if the title is equal to Avengers, we're going to say guard, making sure the title is equal to Avengers. And if it is true, we're going to come down here. Whereas if it is false, we're going to go into this closure. Okay, so here we would print out not Marvel, and here we would print out Marvel. Alright, so slightly different logic, right? Whereas here it was, if this is true, enter this closure. Here we're saying, make sure it's true so that we don't have to enter this closure. Right? So if this is false, then we enter this closure. Whereas if this is false, then we enter this closure. These are two different ways to control the flow in a function. But again, this guard statement is returning us out of the function. So as soon as we hit this line of code and then we hit this line of code, we're going to get out of this function. So nothing after this line, once it runs, will ever execute. So if the title is not Avengers, this will run, this will return, and the rest of our function is never going to execute. Alright, so up here, let's just do something else in our code. And let's run this, and we can see right now that Marvel's printing out because the title is Avengers, so we're printing that out here. If the title was something else, and I ran this, we're going to run into our else statement, and we should print out not Marvel. Okay? And just like the above functions, we can return a value out of this. So maybe we have this function is actually check if title is Avengers, and it returns us a boolean. Alright, so let's return this back to Avengers. So let's change this function. The title is Avengers, and we'll say guard, make sure the title is Avengers. If it is true, we will come down here, we will return true. If it is false, we're going to return false. Okay? Again, just to run it back, we're going to throw another function down here, check if title is Avengers 2, and we're going to do our if statement. We're going to say if title is equal to Avengers, return true, else return false. Alright, so this code and this code are doing the exact same thing, but one is using a guard statement. So a guard statement lets you check something, and if not, return out of the function early. And this is doing an if statement. So it's saying if this is true, enter this closure. Where here it's saying if this is true, come down here. If this is false, enter this closure. So guard and if statements are mostly used for the same thing, but the result is kind of the opposite. Right? So if guard is false, we enter the closure. If is true, we enter the closure. And there are use cases for both of these in your app. These are both extremely common depending on what you're going to do. In the next video, we are going to get a ton of practice with these if and guard statements. So if this is confusing you right now, do not worry. We're going to go way in depth, in detail in the next video when we discuss optionals, because that's probably one of the most common places where we use these if and guard statements. But until then, just understand that when we create a function, the code in the function is private to that function.
Okay, binary gaming. Hey, which language and technology is this? So yeah, currently I'm doing the Swift, and the tools I'm using is Xcode. Mute the live stream. Yeah, exactly. It's quite boring to watch, and it's quite boring for me as well to attend this lecture and write the some amount of code, and sometimes I'm stuck that for what I'm doing. But yeah, I like to do, and maybe I thought to play the background music, but yeah, I can able to mute this. Hello, what are you coding? Explain a bit. Yeah, currently I am writing the Swift code using the tools called Xcode, and I'm doing the function topic. Yeah, the function in Swift, and the tools I'm using is called Xcode. Hey Python, no, it's you, it's Swift. Tile or Shift. By the way, yeah, now I'm thinking that my brain is not working anymore. Even I can't able to do the typing. So for now, I'm closing the stream, and I'm thinking to get up at 6 a.m. and 6 to 7. Just I want to complete the DSA 3 lectures anyhow, and at the same time I also want to make the notes. So for now, I'm closing the streaming, and I'm closing this live session, and just I'm going to take a nap because I'm very tired. So yeah, thank you just staying with me so far, and now I'm going and closing this stream. So yeah, thank you very much, and stay connected.